Welcome to episode 1, Cell Phone Superhero. What is the Cell Phone Superhero? What do I have right here? This is a phone leash. Why Cell Phone Superhero? Why did I make it? How did I get to this point? I dropped my phone quite a bit growing up, just like a lot of other people. And I just got tired of dropping it and having to pick it up. So I thought, what if there was a device that could clip to my belt loop and attach to the back of my phone and prevent it from hitting the ground? But also, I'd want to be able to pull my phone off of this device so I can make regular phone calls, take pictures, etc., and use it like a normal cell phone. So that was the idea, the goal, and thus the Cell Phone Superhero was born. I'm going to show you a quick set of clips of me dropping it. These videos are from several years ago while I was in college, so I'm definitely going to look different, a little bit younger. So enjoy these this minute or two of testing. I hope you enjoyed that montage. Now, let's get into the guts of the Cell Phone Superhero. How does it work? How does the regular badge ID reel work? Well, they work exactly the same. So let's pop one of these guys open and take a peek. So this is what the inside of one of these badge ID reels looks like. It's got this spring, it's got these two pegs here, it's got this circular piece that rotates. So the string is wound up here. When you pull it, the spring compresses. When you release it, the spring decompresses. This is an example of what one of these metal springs looks like when it unwinds. So in order to make the Cell Phone Superhero, this is exactly what I did. I bought one of these. I bought actually a lot of these, and I took them apart to kind of see how they worked. So I started designing the Cell Phone Superhero a year or two into college. So I was taking a lot of CAD classes, and 3D printing was new to me. So I had my first CAD class in about 2018. So I had designed the top, the bottom, and one of my buddies helped me design the rotating piece. Shout out to Xander. And obviously it looks exactly the same as this. This was what I was going after. So in my first trials, I was using these badge ID reels to drop my phone with. But this string, whatever this string is pretty flimsy, and it would snap. So I thought to myself, what can I get? What type of string can I get that is about the same thickness but 2 to 3 times stronger? So I settled for some fishing line. It was a couple bucks at Walmart. I think this was like 45-pound braided fishing line, and it worked out perfectly. So the idea is exactly the same. I would drill a hole and tie a knot around that hole, and then I would just wind this bad boy up, and I'd land it out here, and then I would glue the top on, and then I would attach everything to make it fully look like this. So I would have an outside, I would also have this square block, and go from there. Alright, let's go over some of the issues I faced with the CellPhone-SuperHero. So like I said, I was new to CAD and new to 3D printing at the time of designing this. This was the first thing I really 3D printed and 3D modeled. So these pegs, for example, these pegs were not, and still are not, very strong. And I didn't know that at the time. I was just copying exactly how the inside of this looked. It's got these pegs, but these are injection molded, so they are way more stronger than these printed pegs. So at first, I would drill a hole kind of back here, and I would just tie a knot with the fishing line. Well, after a couple of drops, the fishing line would just pull straight out of the hole that I drilled. I'd tie like 4 or 5 knots, and with enough weight, it would just pop right out. So that was problem one. And that's how I came to tying a knot around it like this, because it was way harder to break through this lip versus just pulling straight out of that hole. So that solved one problem. And like I said, the pegs were pretty much the next problem. Now, I didn't know that these pegs were breaking until it was really too late. So what would happen is I would drop it enough, and of course I'm dropping it, and all I'm doing is just putting force on these pegs downward, right? So these pegs would sometimes snap, and the way you'd know it's snap is because it's not going to retract anymore, because it has nothing to pretty much grip. So then I would have cables and strings that were just kind of stuck out like this and like this. So that was those were pretty much the main problems with it. This idea, I think, was the original idea that I had. Keyring, buckle clip, super glued to this adhesive. You would have the second piece of adhesive that would stick to the back of your phone, tie them together. And this worked pretty well, but sometimes if I was really rough during testing, this would unbuckle and my phone would still hit the floor. So after that, I kind of thought, okay, well, I don't really need this. I think this on the back of the phone will be just as strong. And so I went from this idea to this idea. I also wanted to buy less parts, because then I had the key ring, I had to drill a hole through here, figure out how to tie the fishing line through here, glue this onto there. It just seemed like a lot. So I switched up to this kind of rectangular shape, drilled the hole through. It was a lot easier for me to just have one piece than 2 or 3 pieces. And so that's how we settled on this final design. Now, like I said, it looks exactly identical. Clips goes around it the same way, Mine's just a lot bulkier, in all honesty. I did try and make my own CellPhone-SuperHero to kind of slip onto like my shorts or sweatpants with that, this clip wouldn't work. So this is what I came up with. Of course, the back of this also has a clip, so that's not really new. I will say the main difference is I made my clip rotatable, because when I had my phone on it, my phone was able to spin up as I was pulling on it and then rotate down, versus this clip just being stuck on my pants and kind of moving only a little bit. So that is the CellPhone-SuperHero and how it functions. At the time, I was young and dumb, and I thought it was the best thing since sliced bread. Oh, this is a new invention. I'm gonna be able to get a patent on this and, sell $1 million worth of these. And I truly believed that at the time. Looking at it now, I do not think there's any chance of getting a patent, because similar things already exist and probably have been patented, and the patent probably expired. So I now see there's probably not much I have to work with. But that's what I thought back in 2018 in college. Young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed engineer, full of optimism. And I still am, but I've got some couple years of experience, and some realism has kind of kicked in now. So I still went for it. I was going to try and get a provisional patent. I didn't have the money to do that because I was a broke college student, and I think it was $300, maybe $400 to apply for a provisional patent. And I just thought, okay, maybe I can make a Kickstarter, and if people like this idea enough, then they'll buy it, because I was mixing and matching the colors to try to make it more appealing, things like that. So to my surprise, I actually did get several backers, some of which were from other countries, not even people from the United States, which really surprised me, actually. So I think those backers maybe paid like $100 total, and I sent out a tweet to a YouTuber, Nim Raps, and I said, hey Nim, can you just share this tweet with your followers, hoping that more would help out. And to my surprise, he paid whatever that remainder balance was of like $200 something. Now, he didn't know me, I was just watching his Try Not to Laugh videos, and he just responded with, your provisional patent is fully funded. And I was just blown away by his generosity. So I think I sent him a couple of these, and I think some other printed items in the box. But I was very grateful, and still am grateful, for his contribution and the people on Kickstarter that supported this and believed in it as well. Unfortunately, I did ship everything. That's not unfortunate. That is fortunate. But unfortunately, after several uses from some of the backers, they broke. I had got some messages like, hey, this was really cool, and I tried it out, and I put it on my phone, but after maybe 5 or 6 drops, it broke and was stuck dangling just kind of like this. And I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry. And that kind of was it. That's pretty much CellPhone-SuperHero beginning to end. I was looking around, and I thought it'd be a nice video to post and kind of kickstart the channel back up again, with this being episode 1. My first idea, to me, made sense. So I'm not selling these. I had a whole website. I had business cards, CellPhone-SuperHero.com, and all this other stuff. But it didn't go anywhere. But I was also in school, so I was learning so much. My 3D modeling and mechanical design have gotten 1,000 times better than what it was back then. So I'm happy to say I've progressed in that area quite a bit. However, I will just go ahead and release these files, since there's no one can get a patent on it. I'm not selling it. So if this is something that you may want to print, you want to modify, you want to try and make better or customize it however you want, go for it. Feel free, have at it. If you do print these files and make your own, please just @ me or tag me in any of the socials at ALIT or ALIT Innovations, because I want to see it. I'm just curious how you would go about it and if it works for your device. So that's it for this episode. Go make something, and as always, You stay lit, America.
Oh no, I dropped my phone. Too bad it wasn't attached to my cell phone superhero that clips to my belt loop in the back of my phone and stops my phone from hitting the ground. Now anytime I see pesky logs and I'm not paying attention, who cares? Won't drop my phone anymore. Get yours today at CellPhone-SuperHero.com.